Abdullahi Omotola.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on the part of the globe you're watching from. This is Issues in My Country with Lai Omotola. Today's topic is why Dangote may not announce the price of fuel. Over the weekend, Dangote and NNPC commenced the lifting of premium motor spirits, which is petrol, PMX, or fuel. And quite a number of people celebrated the commencement of this lifting, and it was a joyous moment. Indeed, the Minister for Finance came in and inaugurated the lifting. Later on in the day, it was reported in the newspaper, one of the news outlets, that Dangote sold fuel to NNPCL at 766 naira per litre. NNPCL responded by saying they never bought fuel at 766 naira per litre. That indeed they bought the fuel at 898 naira per litre. Within minutes, Dangote responded back that the price that NNPCL quoted was untrue, and that the only person that can give the true price of the fuel is the technical subcommittee set up by the federal government. And Dangote, in that newsletter or that press release, did not state the price. This has left a lot of Nigerians confused, frustrated, and in fact, Nigerians have started to seek the price of fuel from Dangote. And up to this moment, Dangote is yet to come up with a price. Television stations, journalists, analysts are trying all their best to get the price from Dangote, but they've not been able to get it up to now. And this has become frustrating. Today, I want to break down the pricing for you and reveal part of these things that will guide us for us to understand. I think primarily, Dangote does not want to give the price himself. The reason is very simple. When Dangote wanted to start this refinery, he hinged this refinery on two pillars. The number one, that this refinery will reduce the price of fuel drastically and stop fuel scarcity. These two things was what was sold to the federal government and also sold to Nigerians. So Nigerians and the federal government see the coming of Dangote refinery as the coming of a Messiah. Dangote understanding that the momentum behind him are the people of Nigeria. Therefore, breaking a news that the price of fuel would skyrocket to 898 naira per litre. If Dangote should say that himself, he will automatically lose the entire Nigerians that have been supporting him for years. In fact, some of them will see him that he has scammed the country, and some of them will see him as a terrible businessman. And for this reason, Dangote has been very, very careful in announcing the price. Instead, he has allowed NNPC to come up with the price, and people should see that NNPC is actually the problem. But really, who is the problem in the midst of this trouble? By the time I break it down, the decision to know who is at fault will be yours to take. So let's go. NNPC will later come out to bring out a price template. The pricing template says it all. NNPC breaks down the pricing template. And that pricing template has revealed quite a number of things. If you're a business analyst, with the pricing templates that have been shown, you can deduct the entire length and breadth of this transaction. What are we seeing from this pricing template? Number one, we are seeing that the price of crude oil is or was sold in dollars. So we have the price of crude oil per metric tons, and we have the price of crude oil per liter. Now, NNPC is the one supplying a large portion, if not all, but not all, of crude oil to Dangote. And the cost of raw material is about 85%. So the partnership between NNPC and NNPCL and Dangote is that NNPCL will supply crude oil, which is the raw material, to Dangote, and Dangote will refine. Dangote will refine. So NNPCL gives the cost of the supply and also give the cost of refining. The cost of refining 1 liter of petrol to Dangote is 56 naira. And then NNPC puts the cost of logistics after looking at regulatory fees and says the cost of logistics within Lagos is 15 naira per liter. And then NNPC puts margin of 26 naira per liter. And by the time you add all these things together, you have 898 naira. And NNPC says that is ex-factory. So by the time you move to the petrol station anywhere in Lagos, it lands at 950 naira after middlemen have added their own margins. So what is clear by this template is that the cost of refining per liter for Dangote is 56 naira, which is certain. The question is this: if Dangote is refining at 56 naira, is it high, is it competitive, or is it average? And then can Dangote break even at refining at 56 naira, knowing fully well that there is an investment of $20 billion, break even there? Now the question arising, number one question is that Independent Petrol Marketers Association, IPMAN, have said that Dangote have not invited them to come and lift fuel, and that Dangote have made NNPCL the sole buyer, creating a monopoly. The explanation for this is that Dangote, with a refinery capacity of 650 barrels of crude oil, is not going to be talking to individual marketers that can only buy very few or small quantity. With that kind of refinery, He wants to talk to a bulk buyer, and that is the only way that his business can make sense to him. He's not interested in talking to people that will come with 10 trailers or 10 trucks, will come with 5 or at most 50 trucks. He wants someone that will take all the 25 million liters in one day, and then that person can distribute among every other value chain holders along the line. This is the model that can work for such a refinery, and this is also international best practices. So the Ipman people should forget Dangote talking to them. It's not going to work. Dangote will talk to one buyer that has the capacity. Secondly, the Ipman do not have the resources to pull together to buy at least minimum of 1 million liters in one day. 1 million liters in one day is close to like ₦1 billion a day, which is the minimum Dangote will want to sell to anybody. No trader have that capacity. And if they even have the capacity, they will be looking for funding from bank. Today, funding from bank with high interest margin will be difficult for any marketer to pull together. So, NNPC is the only one that has the capacity to put these funds together and to also get interest at a very lower rate. And that is why Dangote is insisting that NNPC Health must lead the charge. Understanding this aspect is very crucial. It's not intentional that Dangote does not want to talk to Ipman, but it is intentional that it must be a bulk purchaser. If you understand, when we were doing the electricity, the Gencos have to sign an agreement with the federal government when the federal government created Nigerian Electricity Bulk Buyer Agency. These are the people that guarantee everything that the Gencos would generate, buy it off plan, and then the Gencos can concentrate on generating because they already have a guarantee buyer. This is the way it works with this kind of infrastructure coming to play. So the marketers need not to slam Dangote. Again, the truth of the matter is that if the marketers are allowed to come and pick 1 truck, 2 trucks, 3 trucks, the truth of the matter is that they will be doing it at a lesser price than NNPC. If NNPC is selling at $9.50, the marketers will get that to their retail site as probably $9.20, $9.30. And once this is happening, it will cause distortion in the market because there is price elasticity. Whenever drivers or car users see that they're selling fuel at a petrol station at $9.30 as opposed to $9.50, they will prefer to go and queue at where they're selling at $9.30 because it makes a 20 naira difference. So NNPC understand that allowing these people to come and pick it one after the other, it will cause a problem for them. Why? Because their own costs is lower than NNPC. They do not have the number of staff that NNPC have. They have very, very little staff, and they can do this thing at $9.20. So NNPC will not allow them to come in and distort the market. That is the number 2 reason why Ipman cannot directly go to Dangote. They have to pass through NNPC. Number 2 is the price of Dangote fuel more expensive than imported fuel? No. Dangote's fuel is not more expensive than imported fuel. The imported fuel landing cost is 1,200 per liter, but it is NNPC that have been subsidizing this to bring it down to like 850. They call it cost recovery. We know it as subsidy. The government, through the NNPC, has been subsidizing. If they remove subsidy from the imported fuel, it will be 1,200, as opposed to Dangote's 950. But why the hula baloo. The reason is that the expectation of Nigerians is that when Dangote refinery come up, fuel will be going for between 150 and 200 naira. That is the expectation. But again, that is a far cry. The reality on ground now is that with these templates, there is no way that Dangote can sell fuel for 200 and there's no way it can sell it for 300. Dangote will find it difficult to explain this to Nigerians. Nigerians will feel deceived. Nigerians will feel let down, but this is the truth of the matter. So, how can we actually get Dangote to sell fuel at 200 naira? The price template will tell you there are two factors in the price template that determines the cost of fuel. The first one is the price of crude oil under Platts. If the price of crude oil is $70, it's a reason. The second reason is our exchange rate. If our exchange rate should come down to 500 naira from 1,200, instantly the cost of petrol will also come down. Today, our exchange rate is 1,635, and that explains the reason why fuel is expensive. Then again, if crude oil should come down to like $40, the price of petrol will also come down. These two factors are not in the hands of Dangote. This is in the hands of the fiscal policy and monetary policy. Dangote have no power to regulate or to peg our FX. And as long as these two factors continue to interplay, bringing the cost of fuel down will be difficult. Now, how do we now do it? Some people say, oh, what about the naira to naira? What is naira to naira? When the federal government will sell crude oil to Dangote in naira, and Dangote will sell petrol in naira, will they not have an impact? No. Do not expect any impact. In fact, if it should have an impact, it means that federal government has started subsidizing. You want to disagree? Yes, disagree, but let me explain it to you. The major component of fuel is crude oil. What brings crude oil out of the ground is dollars. Dollars bring it out of the ground. You pay in dollars to bring it out of the ground. So once it comes out of the ground, if you sell it in naira, there is no problem. But by the time you are returning to bring that crude oil out again, that your naira, you must convert to dollar to be able to bring it out of the ground. So it's still the same cycle. It's still the same thing. You are still going to continue to be challenged. But what is the way out? This is the way out. Nigeria have OPEC quota of 2 million barrels per day. Nigeria is barely doing between 1.3 million to 1.6 million. Originally, when the refineries were working, Nigeria have allocated 445,000 barrels of crude oil to all the refineries. Now, when Dangote was coming to start refinery, his cash flow was mainly towards that 445,000 barrels. Now, these 445,000 barrels are barrels meant for refining for Nigeria's consumption. And because it's for Nigerian consumption, it does not come under Platts. And if it does not come under Platts, it means that it is only the costs of production that we should bear and not the price of production. What does that mean? The cost and the price, they are two different things. The cost is what it costs you. The price is cost plus profits. That's the price. So when you are sending crude oil to Nigeria, you take away your margin. So, for example, if on Platt is $70, because you are sending to Nigeria, it should be $40. So if Dangote is receiving that crude oil at the rate of $40, and these are the things that Nigerians are agitating about, saying that, look, the crude oil is in our country. And because it's in our country, we should get it cheap, is a legitimate argument. But the process is where the problem is. If the price of crude oil, removing the profits and selling straight based on our 445, comes to $40 and the exchange rate comes to $300, by the time you put all the other refining costs, NNPC and the rest, which is like $80, or let's even say $100, the cost of fuel will be $220, 220 naira per liter. Now, the problem here is this. If Nigeria begins to sell fuel at 220, and Cotonou is buying fuel at 1,200, Togo is buying at 1,005, the same Nigerian businessman will carry the truck out of Nigeria and go and sell at Cotonou, and will return back to scarcity. Why? Because of the huge margin. So there is a serious case here. Now, having said all this, where do we go from here? Nigeria must understand that the days of fossil fuel is going gradually. And we must begin to think about renewable energy. We must begin to think about compressed natural gas. We must begin to think about alternative sources of energy, both for living and for mobility. The earlier we begin to fix our mind towards these things and concentrate less on fuel and petrodollar, the better for us as a country. In developed nations, the prices of fuel is arguably around this price, 1,000, 2,000 per liter. But I tell you, when you look at that filling station, at any point in time, you hardly see 2 or 3 cars buying fuel. Why? They have mass transits. They have electric vehicles. Majority of them use smaller cars that consume less petrol. So you don't see people queuing up at the petrol station. And whenever there's an adjustment in price, nobody complains because there are alternative means. Some people don't even get to drive their cars only on weekends. Some people take their cars to the train station and enter the train and off they go. The way forward is alternative sources. We have labored so long on petrol as the singular means of energy. And looking at all this arithmetic, understanding very well that it will be difficult for this present government to bring down the price of FX from 1,600 to $1 to 300 naira to $1, and also to sell crude oil to Dangote at $40 when the international market is selling $70. There is little or nothing Dangote can do in terms of pricing. As he collects it, so he will sell. But to tell Nigerians that his thoughts, his understanding that once he starts his refinery, price will crash, was a big mistake, is what he's finding difficult today to tell Nigerians. Some people said that it was when Dangote started selling diesel that the price crashed. That's a lie. When Dangote came to the market selling diesel, naira to $1 was 1,900. And diesel was very high. When naira came down to 1,002, diesel came down to 1,002. It was not Dangote that made it happen. It was the exchange rate that fell that diesel came. And up to now, diesel still remain 1,002, not even 900. So, Dangote have not done anything. The very sad reality for us is that the refinery cannot crash price unless governments give Dangote crude oil at a very reduced discount and the FX comes down. Anything short of this is all fallacy, waste of time, vexation of the spirit. And this is the reality staring us in our face, and this is what we have come to know, that Dangote will only refine crude oil, sell petrol as he receives it from NNPCL. I hope you've been able to understand all I've said. If this has made so much impact, please share this video, and thank you for watching. My name is Lai, and this is Issues in My Country with Lai Omotola. Thank you so much. Till I see you next week. God bless.